most majestic pieces of art that I've ever seen, and it's right here around the corner. The gates of hell. Rodin began to think of this piece as the generator. It would generate new figures and new sculptures all the time as he worked on it. Now I'm out in Meudon because I wanted to see the actual place where Rodin was doing all this work, working on the gates of hell. And I know that it's closed because usually it is a museum, but I know that it's closed in January. This is it. But I just wanted to see the house anyway. Auguste Rodin was born in Paris in 1840. Early in his career, he received a commission for a monumental doorway. He called the piece The Gates of Hell, a work that would become his life's project. When I first visited this garden, I think it was about 10, 12 years ago, it was very pretty and I was very impressed, but there was one thing that I have never forgotten, one of the most majestic pieces of art that I've ever seen, and it's right here around the corner. See, I remember so well seeing this for the first time. The gates of hell. And it was in here at Villabiron where he had the whole plaster model laid out on the floor, moving around all the figures to position them and reposition them over and over again. He kept doing it for almost 40 or 37 years. It started out in Meudon, where he lived, and then he moved it over here. And the model that was built here on this first floor is the plaster model that is now at Musée d'Orsay. Here inside Villabiron at the Musée Rodin, you can see some of the very first table-sized models of the Gates of Hell. Both hand-sculptured models in clay and the first casted figures for the scene. The faces of agony and despair was something that he paid much attention to. Here at the Musée d'Orsay is where they keep the full-scale original model, plaster model that Rodin actually worked on himself. So let's go in and have a look at it. So here we have it. Just around the corner. The original. The surface of the Gates of Hell is crowded with more than 200 figures, drawn largely from Dante's Inferno. At the center sits the thinker, originally conceived as Dante himself, while figures such as Paolo and Francesca, Ugolino, and the falling bodies below represent desire, punishment, and despair. Rather than illustrating a single scene, Rodin built the doors as a continuous movement of bodies, rising, collapsing, and endlessly repeating. While working on the Gates of Hell, Rodin began removing individual figures and developing them as independent sculptures. Some of his most famous works were born directly from this process, including The Thinker, The Kiss, The Three Shades, and Ugolino and His Sons. The doors became a kind of laboratory where ideas were constantly reshaped, enlarged, reduced, or transformed into entirely new works. The Museum of Decorative Arts, for which the doors were commissioned, was never built due to lack of funding. Yet the Gates of Hell remains one of the most important works in the history of modern sculpture.